Well, I don't think anyone could have predicted a better welcome back to the court than the performance that we saw from Caitlin Clark on Saturday. The Indiana Fever beat the defending champs New York Liberty at home 102-88. And Caitlin Clark stole the show. She had 3 consecutive threes and really got the 17,000 person crowd going at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And people were absolutely losing their mind. I was losing my mind at home. I was like, boom, 3. That was pretty deep. Didn't think that would go. Boom, another 3. I'm like, there is no way. Boom, another 3 right in Brianna Stewart's face. And I was absolutely just in awe. Number one, she goes for a 4th one and almost makes it. It like goes around the rim. Like that would have been just, I mean, that would have to been a SportsCenter top 10 for like 3 weeks in a row. It was that crazy. So huge showing from Caitlin Clark and just how much fun she was having too on the court. I think what was so fun for me to see, she shoots this deep 3 over Brianna Stewart. And as they're running back, they have this like really funny exchange. They're like laughing. Brianna Stewart knows it was crazy.
Yes.
Caitlin Clark's like, that was nuts. How did I hit that shot? So I absolutely loved it. But let's hear from Caitlin Clark after the game.
I mean, yeah, it felt good. And then I took one in transition. That's kind of like where I like to get to early. And it's always good to see the ball go through the hoop. And then I came down and shot another one. Then I came down and shot another one and saw 3 in a row go in. So that gives you a lot of confidence. And then I think I got a couple clean looks after that too. Early in the second quarter, I had a wide open one, and then made another couple tough ones. And even in the second half, I thought I felt like they all came off my hand feeling really good. So like that's what you can find confidence in as a scorer and as a shooter. And yeah.
Yeah, and then I shot another one, and then I shot another one, and then they all went in. It was basically
what
that
I loved
reaction.
is that Cunningham couldn't even like keep a straight face. She's like, okay.
It was so funny, and clearly, like she felt good. That's why
Yeah.
she kept shooting. And I think as a shooter, when I play basketball, like you know when it's going in, when it leaves your hand.
Yeah.
And so clearly, she felt that from the start. But it's good to know. I didn't know that about Caitlin. That hey, she likes to get threes in transition, and I think that's what really separates her apart from a lot of deep 3 shooters. Is that a lot of this time it's a slow, methodical setup to your defender. You take your time. You kind of realize, okay, I think people are clearing out. I think she's going to take the 3 or take it to the hoop. And no, Caitlin's coming full speed, like sprinting into these 3-pointers, which makes her so dynamic as a player and just different, very different from other people.
Well, it's amazing that you point that out too, because she's somebody in the category, and like I've heard this phrase more in soccer, but she's always moving. So she's not ever trying to like make certain moments happen. She's always kind of moving to make situations happen, which I hope that makes sense. So with that being said, I thought it was so funny too when she was just kind of like lobbing these 3s over Brianna Stewart, who's like tremendously one of the other best players in the
and
WNBA
tall.
and very
like
tall.
She's like short.
Yeah, like very up there, like probably has reach in her favor too. And it was just like she made certain things look so easy. And it's not just because the Liberty are the defending champions, it's the fact that like a roster that was already so elite, being the Liberty, they added key pieces. Like we had a whole conversation about some other like tools that they had in the toolbox to make sure that this team could potentially go for a repeat. So to have Caitlin Clark come back from injury and just to make, no offense everyone, some slight work over a very like championship caliber roster still is really exciting. But I love that you mentioned like her ability to just like point out that she likes doing that in transition, because she is just always on the move. It's going to mess with the reads. Nobody can get comfortable around her. No. And I think Caitlin Clark low-key loves that. She is making everybody uncomfortable and doing it in style.
Definitely. And I can't even imagine just being there on the New York Liberty being like, dude, like we were like undefeated and then you come back and like now we're like back to square one, really is how it felt like, as someone that you have to have an intricate and thorough game plan for. But this is Stephanie White before the game, so not actually after the game, but before the game, talking about how the Fever had to restrict Clark's minutes throughout this game.
I know there was one period of time, and it may have been during that stretch where we had 7 empty possessions, and we've got to run something, right? Like we got to get into offense. We've got to stop trying to do it all ourselves, and we got to lean on each other. So I'm not exactly sure what it was at that moment, but I'm proud of our group. I'm proud of how they responded. I'm proud of the resilience that they've shown, and now we got to just continue to build on it, continue to stack our days.
Yeah, Caitlin's obviously never come back from an injury like this before, but just did you expect this kind of 32-point near triple-double game from her?
Well, don't we always expect that kind of game from Caitlin? Good, bad, or ugly. I knew her adrenaline was going to be high to start. I mean, she's been itching to get back out there. So certainly knew that. Did I think it was going to be a 25-point half? No. But as she so often does when she gets hot. It's a streak, right? And so she got hot early and knocked down a lot of shots. She carried us in the first half, and then everybody else carried us in the second half.
Yeah, she knew Caitlin Clark would be itching to get back out there, but said she didn't know it would be a 25-point half, which obviously is like you're around this player all the time in half, right? It's absolutely crazy. And that was actually another clip. But before the game, Stephanie White was basically just talking about, we have to figure out as a staff and as a training team, like, how do we restrict her without cutting off her energy and her flows and her momentum? Because that's a really hard thing, especially when you go and watch Caitlin do what she just did. Deep threes. You're like, oh, after that first one, we probably should have taken her out. Like, no. What are you doing? That is not what you should do. But that's just it's a hard thing to juggle. And I remember watching the game and Rebecca Lobo just talking about how maybe they should play Caitlin Clark in these shorter burst spurts throughout the game and not, consistently that long time just because of her incredible performance. But I'm like, that's got to be hard. Do you think Caitlin's going to want to do that? I don't know.
See, that's exactly where my mind goes. Like, is she going to want to do that? Because you're talking about a player who her coach just said itching to get back out there. Like, if you know that you can make a difference, regardless, you want to be out there making a difference. In the short bursts, like, she makes it count, to say the very, very least. But I feel like when you're that competitive, you're like, yeah, but I can still do so much more. Like, if I put up 25 in the first half and, like, my counts get limited in the second half, like, imagine what I could have done if I had 4 full quarters to work with. Like, I think that would just be, like, going in a loop in her brain. So I don't know if Caitlin Clark would be on board with that.
Definitely. No, I agree. I don't think any athlete to that caliber would be too jacked up about that. But let's hear from Sabrina Ionescu after their loss to the Fever.
I mean, it's not defeating. Basketball's a game that runs in the same way like we go on runs, they do as well. They're a great team. So I don't think it's defeating. I think obviously we know what a great shooter she is, and I think we just gave her too many easy ones. Obviously she has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially with missing some games. And so obviously on a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out on the court, healthy, feeling good, because obviously it's important for them, but just for her, I'm happy she's back.
This is the part of the WNBA and in their conversations that I think we need to highlight way more. Sabrina Ionescu just being like, I'm happy she's back, being so respectful, so honorable, and she just killed them. Like, she just came out there and was like, yeah, I took a few, days off and I'm back, and this is potentially someone who could get in the way of personal accomplishments, and also league accomplishments in winning the WNBA finals, right? And so I just loved it, and I think the media needs to do a better job of highlighting that. And that kind of dialect, rather than like the heated tensions that happen on the court. Like, yes, that's a thing and it happens, and like cameras are out, you're gonna see it. But I just think as a whole, when we're blowing up social media, it's like, yeah, how cool is this? One of the best players in the world is shouting out another best player in the world. This happens in every league, but I think it's just important for the WNBA as a whole when we're talking about, okay, how much media is positive and how much media is just like kind of making it seem like a cat fight almost more that we really don't need.
It's owning your differences, right? Because like Ionescu clearly understands the big picture here. She's great for the sport. That kind of game is great for the sport. It's great for the eyes on the WNBA as they continue to have this positive trajectory to pull in more fans and to make their voices even louder. Whereas like the media side of it, I think that sometimes there's just this unfortunate, let's just say, almost lazy approach to be like, hey, we talk about it when the guys are, pushing and shoving and there's a pissiness going on the court, and like that highlighting works in the NBA, so it's going to have to work in the WNBA, versus the fact that like WNBA, it's like, no, we've had to do a lot more hauling and a lot more groundwork to get here. We're going to highlight every aspect of it because you're here to watch good basketball. We're here to show you that we're equally as capable. So I think it's just kind of one of those lazy routes that it's like, oh, it worked over there, so let's give it a try over here over and over again. But big kudos to Ionescu for like taking the time to do that in her press conference, and it's very authentic, which is the next best part about it. She's good for the sport. Give her flowers, and look, it's just going to make the next matchup that much more exciting, because I'm sure they're going to want to have their ability to make Caitlin Clark say, all right, she had a great game, so we got to give her flowers.
Definitely. And I think that's a great point. Like, we're not saying like get rid of it, right? We're not saying like hide all the bad things or like the heated tensions. Like, no, like show that, because then you're going to say, hey, what player do I like to follow? What player do I want to cheer for? What player am I a fan of? And like, what's my opinion on this team? What's my opinion on this player, right? So I think it's it's super important to show both things. I just think as a whole, you and I usually come on here and we have to talk about like a fight that happened or like some drama that blew up
More
or
of the
something in the
rivalries,
tension.
yeah.
Right. And so I think this was just great, and I love to see that. But there's another fun part of this for the Fever is that they get to cheer on the Pacers and when an exciting NBA Finals is going on, and just cool for them to be around. And they've had to change the court, so shout out to the crew there that's making these like overnight changes. I mean, that's like crazy. I don't know how that even gets done. I got to see a little bit of it at Boston College when they change our ice rink into our basketball court in the winter, but like that is a hard feat to do.
Oh my gosh, and just think of the time frame that they do it sometimes. Like for us, we didn't switch to a court from the ice, but we always had to prepare for concerts, and you've got different stage structures with every concert and stuff. So let's just see that they're sleeping very little. And I hope their caffeine intake is supportive of not only their health, but their ability to make that work.
Let's send some Dunkin' Donuts down to
Seriously.
to Indiana. I don't know if there's Dunks in Indy or not. I lived in Indiana for 3 years, so I should know that. But I don't remember seeing a Dunkin' Donuts when I was there.
Interesting.
Starbucks, I know they have, but Dunks. We're in Boston. We like the Dunks, right? That's what we like to do.
That's how we show our support.
But I feel like for the Fever, like just having the Pacers be doing so well and to have that energy around the city, I can just imagine that you definitely have a lot of Fever fans, obviously, in Indiana, and I'm sure basketball fans who follow the Pacers also support the Fever. But I bet there's like a heightened, I can't wait to when this season's over, I'm going to go cheer on Caitlin Clark and company.
Oh my gosh. Well, funny that you mentioned that, because I don't remember the statistics behind it, but it was after the Pacers won on home court, and it was like every time Caitlin Clark's in the building. So she's a good luck charm for this team. Yeah. So I feel like that conversation is actually really high and thriving. And of course, the support probably goes both ways. Like, I'm sure they can't wait to go on to full on support her, but like they're loving her support because statistically it has been more positive than negative, and she helps that winning outcome not only on her court, but for the Pacers as well. So I think that's pretty sick. A whole lot of love for the Indiana Fever stars in the building supporting the Pacers. There you go, right there.
That arena definitely erupted when they saw that. But I know Indiana, it's Cornfield, Indiana. It's probably not everyone's like top place to visit, but I'm like, if you're going to go to Indiana, right now is the time. That is your time to go visit Indy because the hoops are on fire in both leagues.